everyone, I'm Suzy and welcome to this adulting thing. If you haven't watched my channel before, we're basically talking about all the issues associated with adulting and all of the problems and dramas that come from it. Right, so today we're going to talk about a very popular topic, which is dating. And dating in your 20s or as a millennial, need I say more? Now, I'm very lucky because I now have a boyfriend and it's a fun, happy, stable, trusting relationship, which is great. But as most millennials have, I've been through my fair share of dating and it is a rough place out there. I feel like when I first was at university and started to date, it was fun and it was exciting. Meeting these new people, going out to nice bars and pubs and restaurants. There wasn't that kind of expectation or pressure necessarily. Because for most people, when you're dating as a younger person, you're just kind of exploring your options. You're seeing what kind of personalities you are drawn to, what kind of people you like to hang out with, and you're figuring out what you want from a relationship and what you're looking for. Figuring things out is always the fun part, and that's why as you get further and further and further into your 20s, it kind of becomes less fun and it actually just becomes a little bit of a mess. Generally, I feel like I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had any absolutely disastrous dates that I can share, which is kind of unfortunate because I love to share the drama, but I haven't had any dates that have been so terrible that they kind of go down in my history of dating. I think for me with dating, it was more just there wasn't really the connection there wasn't the spark there. I never had anyone crazy, but I've been through the usual, the ghosting, the excuses, all of that stuff, and it really becomes wearing, especially the older you get. Back when I was at uni, my friends loved nothing more than to take my phone and swipe left and right on my dating apps, and they thought it was great and I thought it was great, it was fun. But then as I got older, going through all of these apps and just realizing that you're essentially judging people on a split second. You look at the picture, you decide then and there if you're interested or not. I feel like I always really wanted to meet someone naturally and in person. I think that's mainly because I grew up watching a lot of rom-coms and these really cute moments like in Notting Hill where Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant bump into each other and the orange juice goes on the t-shirt, that sort of thing. That was always my dream of how I would meet someone. And when I was younger, that's how I thought it just happened. But then once dating apps came on the scene, it became clear that that was going to be the way forward. I did actually meet my current boyfriend sort of in person. He was a member at the gym that I worked at, and I liked him for a while and I never said anything. I never spoke to him. And then one day we just got chatting on Instagram and it sort of went from there. So for me, that was a good way to meet someone. And all the girls would be so proud of me. I was such a good feminist because I sent the first message, I did the grafting, I asked him out on a first date, and here we are, we made it. But with dating apps, it was very much a case of scrolling through the profiles, seeing how tall they are, what their interests are there any red flags? I feel like now I am quite good at spotting red flags. I like to think that I'm good at spotting red flags anyway. I feel like I've been through enough dating situations and rubbish relationships, quite frankly, that when there are red flags, I can spot them. But with dating, it's hard because the dating apps now are such a minefield. Sometimes maybe there are red flags or at least pink flags, but because you're swiping and swiping and swiping, and it takes so long to find someone with even the smallest bit of potential, sometimes you feel like, is it a red flag or could it be something that could just be overlooked? Most of the time, it is definitely a red flag, and you should take heed and run for the hills. However, the good thing is when you fall for these red flags, it all adds up to life lessons. The thing I used to hate most about dating apps was the initial small talk, when you've got to sit there and be like, oh, how are you? How's your day? Oh, what do you do? What do you like to do in your spare time? Where did you last go on holiday? It's just so cringe. And then you can be talking and talking and talking and things go well, and then they ask you out on a date, and then either the date's pretty rubbish or they just ghost. Ghosting is something I have never been able to get behind. Honestly, I would rather someone just lie to me. Just tell me that you've been talking to someone else and you're going to pursue things with them. Just make an excuse, whatever it is. I don't care. Just make an excuse as to why we can't go on this date. And it would make me feel better to have that closure. I only ever ghosted people in extreme situations where I just couldn't get rid of them, or they just wouldn't take the hint, and I was trying to say, oh, it's been nice talking to you, but I'm not really feeling it, and they kept coming and coming and coming and trying to get me out on a date. It was only then that I would think, okay, I'm just gonna have to ghost because there is no other way out of this situation. I think it takes a lot to put yourself out there on a dating app, to put yourself out there to be judged by everyone, judged for your looks, judged for your interests, everything. Because it takes some guts to do that. I used to try to be respectful of people's time and people making the effort to send the first message. Even if I wasn't interested, I would at least try and be kind and respectful in return. But I think that's why dating can be frustrating, because that basic level of courtesy often isn't there anymore. What used to make me laugh about dates was when you would get all dressed up and make yourself look good, and you would go, and then the date was just really boring. I always used to say, if it was a bad date, that was a waste of a pair of contact lenses. Because if I would go on a date, I'd usually be wearing my contact lenses, and I would be so annoyed if I'd gone to the effort of wearing a pair of my precious contact lenses and doing all my makeup and everything, and then it was just a rubbish date, because it just felt like a complete waste of an evening. But I think for me, the main thing about dating, and the good thing about dating, was I realised from going on these good dates and bad dates was that I knew what I definitely did and didn't want. And I think when you get to your mid to late 20s, if you are looking to settle down, not everyone is, but if you are looking to settle down, you want to feel like you know exactly the kind of person that you are looking for, because you don't want to waste time. When I met my boyfriend, I was at a point where I wasn't just casually dating anymore. I wasn't going to pursue things or talk to people if I didn't really believe that there was going to be more to it. I felt like I'd had my time of fun dates and getting to know people, and I really wanted something a little bit more serious. But the thing is, a lot of people on dating apps are still there for just a bit of fun or a good time. I think the good thing now though on dating apps, a lot of them anyway, is you can specify what you're looking for. And I think that's really important, because if someone is looking for something super, super casual, but you're looking for a serious relationship, it's probably not going to work if you're on completely different pages. So being transparent from the start about what you're looking for can save everyone a lot of time. As I said, towards the end, I didn't find dating enjoyable anymore. I got really bored of it, and I think people do start to get really down, really deflated, because they just can't find anyone. And everything is so limited now. It feels like dating is very much limited to dating apps. You can't just go out and meet people the way that you used to. As amazing as that would be, there aren't that many Notting Hill orange juice moments anymore. It's all about the swipes. If I ever had to go back to dating again, which hopefully I won't, but if I ever did, I'm not sure I would go back to the apps again. I think maybe I would try and speak to my friends, see if there was any friends of friends, or maybe try and go to some groups or start some sort of new hobby to try and meet people that way, because I think I work best when I meet people organically rather than meeting them over a dating app. And that's not to say you can't have a great relationship by meeting someone through a dating app. I met my ex-boyfriend on a dating app. We were together for a while and it was fine. But it's also really nice to have a connection with someone that wasn't based on seeing each other online and swiping. For example, when I used to be on dating apps, I would be very, very strict with my criteria in terms of the age range, the radius, all that sort of thing. I was very, very strict. Now, I'm 29, my boyfriend is 26, he's about to turn 27, but I usually dated older guys. So if I was on a dating app, I would never have matched with him because he would never be within my target age range. And I feel like that's the problem. When you're on dating apps, you have such a tunnel vision about what you're looking for that sometimes there could be someone really great who, if you met them in real life, you would get on with so well. You would have the same interests and hobbies and everything. But because they don't fit into the parameters that you've set, you automatically just discount them and don't even take them into consideration as an option. Honestly, I'm so glad that my dating days are over. I think dating as a millennial is really, really hard. Now that we only have the dating apps mostly to meet someone, it's just exhausting. I have friends who are still single and they're using dating apps, and I feel like they're now at the point where they're just trodden down by it. They just hate it. But we can only live in hope that people on the dating apps do eventually find the happy ever after, whether it's on the apps or whether it's in person. Right guys, that is all for today. I really hoped you enjoyed this video. I love having a goss about dating, so I had a great time. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.